Some stories are born in comfort, but are written in chaos. Some people are born into privilege, yet choose the path of fire. This is the story of a woman who could have lived quietly, but decided to stand against a dictatorship. Her name is María Corina Machado, a woman who challenged one of the world's most powerful regimes and paid the price. Welcome to Wordy Story, where real lives become timeless legends. Make sure to subscribe and join us, because today we unravel the life of a woman who turned courage into her weapon. She was born on October 7, 1967, in Caracas, Venezuela, a city bursting with oil wealth and dreams. Her father, Enrique Machado Zuluaga, was a successful businessman. Her mother, Corina Parisca, was deeply devoted to education and psychology. From the outside, María Corina's childhood was privileged. A big house, a fine education, opportunities at her fingertips. But inside, she was different. While others dreamed of luxury, she dreamed of justice. Even as a teenager, she would ask her teachers, "Why does a country so rich in oil have people so poor?" Those questions, simple yet dangerous, would define her destiny. María Corina studied industrial engineering at Venezuela's prestigious Universidad Católica Andrés Bello. Her mind was sharp, logical, strategic, fearless. After graduation, she entered the corporate world, a future that promised comfort and wealth. But her heart was restless. She could see her nation's democracy crumbling under political populism, corruption, and manipulation. In her late 20s, Venezuela began to change. A man named Hugo Chávez rose to power, with promises of equality and revolution. Many celebrated him. María Corina, however, saw the cracks forming. She would later say, "When you silence dissent in the name of revolution, you destroy the soul of a nation." And so began her journey from engineer to activist. In 2002, as Venezuela plunged into political crisis, María Corina co-founded Súmate, a non-governmental organization dedicated to defending electoral transparency. Súmate's mission was simple: to protect the people's vote. But in a regime where the vote was power, protecting it became an act of rebellion. Soon she was accused of treason, corruption, even conspiracy. State media attacked her daily. Friends warned her to stop. But María Corina didn't step back. She looked straight into the storm. She once said, "You cannot build fear and freedom in the same heart. You must choose one." She chose freedom. The government began to see her not as a citizen, but as a threat. In 2004, Súmate helped organize a national referendum to challenge Chávez's presidency. The regime retaliated brutally. Lawsuits, arrests, and smear campaigns followed. María Corina was publicly accused of working with foreign powers. Her emails were hacked, her organization raided, her safety constantly under threat. But every attack only made her louder. On one unforgettable day, she stood face to face with President Chávez inside the National Assembly and said boldly, "You are not Venezuela. You are just one man, and Venezuela is much bigger than you." The room fell silent. Cameras flashed. In that moment, she became the voice of millions who could not speak. In 2010, María Corina Machado ran for the National Assembly and won by a landslide. She received the highest vote count in the entire nation. Her victory sent shockwaves through the establishment. Now, the woman they called elite was standing inside their own house, demanding accountability, democracy, and justice. But the government was waiting for its revenge. In 2014, she was expelled from parliament, accused of violating the Constitution. Her microphone was cut off. Her chair was taken. Her voice silenced. Or so they thought, because María Corina had already learned one truth. When they take your platform, speak from the streets. When they take your streets, speak from your heart. And that's exactly what she did. Between 2014 and 2020, Venezuela descended into one of its darkest chapters. Hyperinflation, mass migration, political repression, and hunger. María Corina became a symbol of resistance. yet also a target. She was banned from leaving the country, banned from running for office, followed by secret police and harassed constantly. Her supporters were jailed. Some disappeared. Still, she refused exile. She stayed in Venezuela, often moving secretly between safe houses, always under the shadow of danger. In one interview, she said softly, "I cannot ask my people to be brave if I'm not standing beside them." That is the power of integrity. After 2 decades of repression, hope began to flicker again. In 2023, Venezuela's opposition planned primary elections to choose one leader against Maduro. Many doubted María Corina would even be allowed to run, but she did, and the results stunned the nation. She won with over 92% of the vote. People cried in the streets. For the first time in years, Venezuelans felt a new wind blowing, the wind of change. But then the government struck again. The Supreme Court, loyal to Maduro, banned her from running in the presidential election. They tried to erase her name from the ballot, but they couldn't erase her from the hearts of millions. She responded calmly, "They can disqualify me from their list, but they cannot disqualify me from the people's will." Her courage became contagious. When the dictatorship blocked her candidacy, María Corina didn't surrender. Instead, she supported a unity candidate, Edmundo González Urrutia, and campaigned for him across the nation. But it wasn't a normal campaign. She couldn't appear on television. Her rallies were attacked. Her team was hunted. So she moved silently, from town to town, meeting people in secret, in barns, small churches, and candlelit homes. Her words spread like wildfire through social media, whispered from person to person. The government called her finished, but the people called her La Dama de Hierro, the Iron Lady of Venezuela. On October 10th, 2025, the world finally listened. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to María Corina Machado for her tireless struggle for democracy and human rights in Venezuela. The announcement echoed across continents. In Oslo, journalists stood in awe. In Caracas, people cried in the streets. The woman once called a traitor was now honored as a global symbol of peace. She accepted the prize with humility, dedicating it to every Venezuelan who refuses to kneel. And she said, "This Nobel Prize is not mine. It belongs to the mothers who lost sons in protests, the fathers who left to feed their families, the youth who still dare to dream of a free Venezuela." Her speech silenced the room, and for the first time the world saw her not just as a politician, but as a moral leader. Today, María Corina Machado remains inside Venezuela, still under threat, still fighting. But her impact reaches far beyond politics. She has proven that a single voice, armed with truth, can challenge even the strongest empire of lies. Her journey teaches us that democracy is not a gift. It is a fight renewed every generation. Her life reminds us that courage isn't about winning. It's about standing tall when losing seems certain. And her story, from the girl who questioned injustice in a classroom to the woman who stood before dictators, will echo through history. They tried to break her. They tried to silence her. But every attack only carved her name deeper into the story of freedom. This was the story of María Corina Machado, the woman who chose courage over comfort and proved that even in darkness, one light can ignite a nation. You've been watching Wordy Story, where real lives inspire real change. Don't forget to subscribe, because every week we bring you stories that move the world.